fear mongering. It's fear of the other. You know, it's trying to, you know, associate something that you don't like with a group that has some sort of negative connotation to average people. And unfortunately, that group back then were minorities and jazz musicians. You know, people that represented to the established power structure, the things that were undesirable, and marijuana became affiliated with counterculture and became affiliated with people who wanted to be talking about things like racial equality, and that was a conversation that people wanted to have that time, and marijuana became a victim of that culture war. In addition to hemp being an unfortunate competitor to industrial products that the manufacturer of them was very profitable in this country. So yeah, I mean, I think there's many of your listeners would be very interested in what the history of marijuana prohibition is and how that actually began.
A few years back, I developed a plan for something I thought would counter the whole New World Order situation. And it was called Liberty Villages. And part of the plan for Liberty Villages was to be able to grow hemp there, or to be able to grow medical marijuana. If I continued that trend here, and you got medical marijuana, the Liberty Villages were supposed to be 25 miles from the nearest town. Would these villages be able to qualify as growers for the patients, as a cooperative?
Yeah, actually it would. A caregiver that lives more than 25 miles from the nearest dispensary would be able to cultivate for up to 5 patients. And so, no, I think that the patient cooperative method of cultivation is actually the preferred method. It allows patients to get their medication at a very, very low cost. They have a relationship directly with the person that's cultivating their medication, and you know, I think that's the ideal model. If we were able to set up that type of system for everybody, and if you know your average everyday patient easily plugged into a system like that, that would be the ideal. Unfortunately, in a large state on a large scale, that type of program is very difficult to administer. It's not user friendly on a large scale. But if you're talking about small communities, yeah, I think that would be an absolutely ideal arrangement.
Well, part of the idea for the Liberty Villages is you've got inexpensive housing. It can be temporary. It can be like a motel. You can use teepees, yurts, trailers, or cabins. And 2, it's located away from the cities, so you know you don't have the type of crime that you do. And by doing the cooperative, if the members are a member of this cooperative, they can also buy their coffee, their sugar, their tea at cost plus 10. And if you're growing your own food and generating your own electricity using solar or wind, that's really getting back to not only is it a true greening of America, but it's getting back to the and rebuilding the founding of every civilization, and that would be the self-sufficient family farm. It seems to me this would answer a couple of problems. One, if you're growing, you know, good corn and good tomatoes as opposed to genetically modified Monsanto crap, you would be bringing people in for the food as well as the marijuana. Would you be interested, would your organization be interested in doing this long term? Because if this, I've had the basics for this up at libertyvillages.org for 6 or 8 years.
Yeah, no, I think that what you're talking about is a very important idea, and that
and you're going to need
this is outside the issue of medical marijuana, but I think it's important that people return to knowing what they put in their body came from, and that goes for medicine, and it goes for food, and it goes for any number of things. And unfortunately, right now, we have a disconnect. And I think that we don't realize how we interact with our everyday environment. And there's a sense that they'll take care of it, for a number of issues that we do every day. We dump our trash into the trash can and we throw the bag down the trash chute, and then it goes somewhere. Someone takes care of it, and we go to the supermarket and we're able to get any type of food that we want, regardless of the season, and it's just provided for us. And we don't really know where it came from or why. It's there, and we're able to buy it. And, I think there's a lot of consequences when we don't realize where what we're putting in our bodies is coming from. And so I think any sort of reconnection to the local cultivation of real food, real seasonal food, is a very positive thing. And I think that's something that's very compatible with the idea of patient-based cooperatives for marijuana cultivation for legitimately input.
Well, I think there's farmers out there, and there's people that own farms that aren't working them, don't have the people to work it. We've got a lot of veterans out of work that are homeless that would love to be able to contribute their labor to something like that. Mend those fences, milk those goats, and you got a place to stay.
Well, right. I mean, yeah. I think what you're talking about is basically a community-based New Deal. And right now we have a full the unemployment rate's 10%, but the real unemployment rate's about double that. A lot of people have just decided to stop applying for benefits, and then they're not counted in the unemployment number anymore. And we have about a fifth of our country that is just not making use of their labor. And I think that you're absolutely correct. Is that right now people don't feel valued. They don't feel like what they contribute is something that's valued by society. And I think connecting opportunities for jobs or for involvement and for feeling a sense of utility to the people who need that work. That's what needs to happen. And,
if somebody's got a ranch or a farm and they've got say 100 acres, all they need to do is set aside 5 acres for housing, and we can turn those into they can train the people on how to operate a self-sufficient family farm. We can generate our own electricity. You can build wind generators out of 50-gallon barrels and the axle out of an old wrecked car.
Right. Hey, I mean, it sounds like you have a lot of good ideas. Unfortunately, Clay, we're coming up to the end of our hour. Actually,
we are.
Get back to my day job.
Okay.
So many days of meetings, but it was really a pleasure talking with you, and thanks for having me on.
It's been a pleasure having you on, Andrew. We'll be back in touch. Go to check out libertyvillages.org, and I'll be updating that and upgrading that. And you might send out links to this show. Pull it right off my website and let your people know about it, because we do have answers, and the answers are good, and we can build support for this vote coming up in November.
All right. Well, thanks, Clay. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure talking to you. Bye-bye now.
Okay, bye.
Okay. All right, folks. We're out of time here. Okay. Got that off. We're almost out of time, but call me at 520-413-2397. I'm in Tucson, and like to have your support. Like to work with you. There's a lot of things that we can do, and we can take advantage of what's happening here in Arizona right now to develop the Liberty Villages and a source of income for all of us. If you got a farm or ranch, you want to put it to work, call me. 520-413-2397, or go use my email links. Thanks, and God bless you.